time for coffee with Jeanie and Cindy. Welcome to our BNOW coffee chit chat.
Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about the fact that we are all magnets.
We are.
Law of attraction is alive and well, and that means the good and the bad. So be careful what you think, be careful what you think, be careful what you say out loud, right?
Absolutely. We're magnetic and we are also contagious. We infect the quantum field with our own energy. And so when we have you ever walked into a place where an argument has just taken place? You can feel it. You can feel it. Or if you walk into a place and people have been laughing and having a great time, you feel it. But my favorite example is like you get up and you're late in the morning and you go, oh my God, and you stub your toe and then you get coffee and you drip coffee on your new blouse and you have to change and then you go outside and it's raining and then you've got a flat tire. And I mean, by the time you get to where you're going, work, and so you walk in and someone says, good morning. And you went, yeah, maybe in your world, so what happens is you set up this little perimeter of, I'm in a bad mood. Nothing's going to make me happy. Well, all of the sad sacks and the ones who say, if you have nothing nice to say about anybody, come sit with me. They also, and all of a sudden, everything's, but if you and I have talked about this before too, Cindy, I have just taken to people say, how are you doing? And I say, everything is good. And it kind of stops people in their tracks. But every time I say it, I'm affirming to me that everything is good. Everything is good. And it just lifts all of that. So, I know that you and I have both had a lot of examples and other people too, of like becoming magnetic, drawing into us that which we want through our minds and our words and our attitudes, and conversely drawing into us what we don't want.
Exactly. And I have a perfect example of magnetic and thinking and being careful what you put in somebody's head. My son Jordan, he was playing with the baseball and he was hitting this baseball and it was right outside in the backyard. We lived on a ranch and I said, Jordan, go out to the field over there because you can break a window. Well, what do you think happened? He had to hit one more ball and all of a sudden I hear bing, crash.
Excuse me.
He broke the window after, and I learned with him another time he had gotten a BB gun and we told him, okay, you shoot the
go shoot your eye out.
So we said, only shoot the cans, don't shoot anything else or something bad might happen, right? Well, what did he do? He shot the dog dish and it came back and took out a chip out of his tooth. So I learned with Jordan at a very young age, because he's so magnetic, not to put any kind of negative thought into his head. So we have to be, especially nowadays, Jeanie, we have to be very, 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 very careful what we say to children. Very careful, because I know myself, and I'm sure you as well, anybody who's been on this planet for several years knows that we have to deprogram what we've been programmed to believe. We are so conditioned on this planet to think that we are less than what we really are. The powers that be that understand that, they've done a very good job at making us feel that we're less than what we are. And my favorite teacher of that was a man named Jesus. I like that guy a lot. His whole message was, you can do these things too. I'm here to teach you and bring you to the light. I am the light to God. I mean, everything that he said was to help us to connect with God. And it was very, very popular in his time, to the point where people saw it as a threat. And his message was, we're brothers and sisters. You can do this too. We are the light. We are one with God. All of that. And then, now I was raised Catholic, and the Catholic Church teaches you that you are really just you were born with original sin, and you're just a little jerk. And Jesus, look at this man who suffered because you're a little jerk. And that wasn't the message of Jesus at all, at all.
No, and it's really interesting because we get these screwy messages. Mm-hmm. And you and I were talking the other day about money and about organizations, and many of them that position themselves as like, I'm so high and mighty, and I'm not, but these other people are trying to steal our funds. And I was like, yeah, what part of that is magnetizing that to you? And we run up against this. I teach this money game. It's actually free. It's a 30-day thing.
It's wonderful.
And I ask people to participate, give themselves 30 days to change their money stories. The results are extraordinary.
Yes, they are.
Okay, life-changing.
Yes,
life-changing. And it's when you think about it, because we're undoing all this old programming.
Yes.
People said, I was raised in, all kinds of screwy churches, but, I can remember, poor little Jesus boy, they made him be born in a manger, no crib for his bed, or a crib, whatever. Anyhow, born in the manger and stuff like that. But he was not about that. I mean, all of these, when he was born, and they say 3 wise men. It doesn't say 3 wise men in the Bible, just so you know. It said the wise men came from the east and they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Those 3 gifts, but there could have been 300. Okay, you don't know that. But they also, I've told people, his parents were there for the census because they owned land. They were land and business owners. They weren't poor. They weren't poor. They had to go in and report for taxation. Mm-hmm. And the only reason they didn't have a place to stay is he kept thinking that Mary was going to have the baby, and she didn't. And so he went, okay, let's put you on the donkey and let's just go on in. And then she had the baby. But he always taught people, about the loaves and the fishes, taking, the little fishes and the loaves and feeding thousands of people and having all these baskets left over. When he and his disciples owed taxes, he sent one of his disciples down and pulled out a fish, and there was a gold coin in its mouth to pay their taxes. Mary Magdalene was anointing his feet with this expensive oil and drying his feet with her hair, and the other disciples were just like all wound around the axle going, well, she's just sell that, give it to the poor. And he went, leave her alone. The poor are always going to be with us, because the poor is a mindset.
Yes,
the poor is a mindset. And when he died, the centurions were casting lots. They were gambling to see who would get his robes, because his robes were the most expensive ones. They had no seams in them. They were made on these huge looms, and they weren't sewn together. They were seamless robes. So we have the opportunity, being magnetic and being contagious, of changing what we're drawing to us. If you go to the store and you say, boy, how about that inflation? Have you seen the price of eggs lately? No. It's like, no. You just, if you can't say anything nice, zip your lip, for real. And you need to give thanks for what you have every day and be grateful and let it multiply and let it be drawn to you. If you are complaining about anything, about the state of affairs in the world and about, other people, and, I just don't have whatever. And I've never been married, or I've been married, and, all the good men are either married or they're gay, or whatever. I mean, now that's a statement, is that what you want? Really? So you've said this over and over again, Cindy, we have to be careful about what we think and what we say and what we do. That's
Very
it.
careful. Because it will become a reality.
It does.
Yeah, we don't like the O word. I have friends that say that I'm getting old. I love it when a 30-year-old tells you I'm getting old.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. I have a birthday coming up next month. In fact, I'm going to be in Dallas doing a workshop and stuff. And I was talking to my client this morning, and I told him, I said, well, I'm going to be in Dallas. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to see you, but you know, it's I'm coming in on my birthday. And I said, I'm so excited. I'm going to be 28 again. And, you know, I've never had anybody except my son when he was real little, and he was like, you know, oh, it's your birthday. How old are you going to be this year, Mama? And I said, 28. And he went, wait a minute. You were 28 last year. I'm going to be 28 a whole hell of a lot longer, too. But because I bring that into my consciousness, and I've told this story, I don't want to monopolize this
I love
conversation.
it. I love it. Yeah.
But I was having RK surgery before LASIK came out, you know, and this doctor ophthalmologist was doing it. And he was like, took my refraction. He said, how old are you? And I said, 28. And he was like, you have a teenage son. I said, what do you care how old I am? Well, you know, we have these big charts and graphs, and, you know, we take your refraction and we overlay it on the age, because people in their 20s healed a lot faster than people in their 40s or 50s or, you know, whatever. So I thought about it. I was like, it is my eyesight, so maybe I'll play along. And I said, okay, I will tell you how many sunrises I've seen. Okay, I will. But what I want to tell you is my belief system that our bodies respond to what we tell it. And my body thinks I'm 28. So I gave him this whole thing. And I mean, literally, you could just see him rolling his eyes like going, come on, come on, come on, come on, you know. So anyhow, he did the surgery and everything was like great. And I started seeing really well. I came in like 2 weeks later for another follow-up. And he said, Jeanie, he said, we have a problem. I said, what kind of problem? He said, you're healing way too fast. I went, really? And he said, you're healing like someone in their 20s. I went, duh. It should not be a surprise. He had to go back, Cindy, and redo the surgery using the chart that says I'm 28 years old.
Oh my goodness.
I have literal, scientific, written proof that my body believes I'm 28 years old.
Well, according to Einstein, there is no time.
Yeah.
So again, we're conditioned to believe we believe in linear time, which makes us older or whatever. And it's another thing that you brought up that I think is really interesting is there's also stories where people get a diagnosis both ways, where somebody will be told that they have cancer when they didn't, and then they'll get the cancer, or they'll be diagnosed with cancer and refuse and heal themselves. They refuse to believe.
Well, like our Misty, she had broken her neck in a jet ski thing, and they had put her on all these painkillers, and it destroyed her liver. And she went to the doctor, and he said, your liver is shot, and you have got to have a liver transplant like yesterday. And she just looked at him, and she was like, she just knew enough. She had just started going to Unity, and she went, nah, I don't think so. He was like, what are you talking about? She just, no, I don't think so. I think I'll be fine. And so then she got introduced to laughing yoga. She regenerated her liver through laughter.
Exactly. And that's the kind of stuff that we teach at our retreats. The stories that we share at our retreats. We're so programmed, we're so conditioned to the paradigm of being old, to the paradigm. All of that's changing now. I remember years ago that there was I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere, that young girls were going to want to make their hair silver.
Oh, I know.
And what's happening now? Young girls are making their hair silver, because the baby boomers, we've been traveling through our lifetime or on this journey, changing all the rules. And I think one of the most powerful things that we did was during the Vietnam War. Wars were never protested before.
Mm-mm.
Never. And that war was protested. And I didn't understand. I was a little young at the time, but I didn't understand why they were protesting the war. Now I absolutely know, because of all of the stuff that's coming out in our
Well, that was that mindset. Again, it's magnetic, it's contagious.
yes.
My parents would no more have thought of questioning their doctor about anything
Yes.
or saying, I want a second opinion. They would never have done that because he was the authority. So
My
what
parents
are
were
we
like
the
that.
authority on? I'm the authority on the fact that everything is good. My life is wonderful. I have everything I want. I can have everything I want. My body is youthful and healthy, and that's my reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and like you said, we don't get into these conversations like, oh, I'm just getting so old and decrepit, and I'm just, we don't do that. So, and I love that you just brought this up. This is the kind of stuff. And we have all of these women. We have we have some young women. We have one who started coming when she was 18 and she's now 23 or something. And she's fantastic. But these women get up and they tell their stories, and we get out and we dance and we have fun, and lives are changed. So I just want to wrap this up by saying, if you want to be magnetic to what you say you want, stop saying what you don't want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stop it.
Yes, stop it. Watch, because thoughts become things and words become things.
That's right.
So you have to be careful what comes flying out of your mouth. And I've seen it in card games. I told you my family is very big on playing games, right? And when somebody says, "Oh, I never win," "Oh, I'm not going to win. I'm going to hit this," and they don't. They don't.
My saying is always, if you say so.
You do say that.
Say so.
But on that note, let me share a little bit more. So I was playing cards with my parents, right? And I was kicking it. I was winning everything. Why? Because I started singing the songs I wanted. I wanted these songs to come to me. And my mother, she's so good at cards because she expects the card to show up. Mm-hmm. She just does. She just expects the card that she wants to show up. So I started doing that. And I started doing, like, for instance, if I needed a 3, and I would say, "I've got a 3, skip to my loo. I got a 3, skip to my loo." Well, all they would hear at the table is, and I was singing the words in my head. And I would get what I wanted, whatever it was. Whatever it was, I would get what I wanted. And the more I did it, the more powerful it got. And the more I would get the cards that I wanted. To the point where I said, "Mom, Dad, I got to tell you something." And I told them what I was doing because I felt like I was cheating. And they looked at me and went, "Oh, it didn't, but it was off my chest." So now I've learned how to turn it off and on. So if I really want to win, I know I can do that. Or if I just let the cards do what they're going to do, I do that. But I have learned that I can manipulate and become a magnet for that card that I want, or whatever it is I want. So you can start with something that's very simple.
Well, Jesus said it this way: ask believing.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And it even says in the Bible, you have not because you ask not.
Ah, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
You have not because you ask not. And the things that we're asking for, it's like, well, I didn't ask for that, but you're bitching and moaning. I mean, I call it the member of the BMW club, bitch, moan, and whine. Well, I didn't ask for that. Well, what have you been putting out? And you've been putting it out with emotion. Well, I said I didn't want it. Well, I mean, you can't prove a negative. So the only thing the universe heard was this, and this, which is what you didn't want.
Right.
So stop it. Wake up.
At the last retreat, Misty and I, we were in those big piney woods, right? Mm-hmm. And I left Texas in June of 2022. And here we are in January of 2023, and my house still hadn't sold
Mhm.
at the retreat. And so I started singing, we sold our house, and we are celebrating. We sold our house. Well, Misty started singing with me, and we started dancing. And I said, thank you, God, we are celebrating. You have to put the thank you in there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, God, we are celebrating. The next day, Jeanie, you know this, we got an offer on the house.
I know. It's
And that's
sold.
the offer that we took. So you can sing into, that's like I said, da 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 da, because what happens is music is emotion, and emotion is feeling. And when you talk to Abraham or you listen to Abraham Hicks talking, they talk about the feeling of having it already be there. And what'll happen is you'll get, you know, the ego or whatever that energy is that puts self-doubt into your head will start trying to seep in and go, what do you think? Like, you look stupid. You're singing the stupid song. You think this is going to get your house sold, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Just sing louder
Just
and faster.
shut up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, emotion, and you said is energy in motion.
That's right. That's right. So that's why I recommend make up a song to a familiar tune, but don't forget to say thank you in the song. And Jordan, my son, I told him about what I did, and he said, the part that really made that happen, Mom, was you were saying we are celebrating.
That's
because
right.
because
It's a fun deal.
it kicked in the happiness, it kicked in the joy, it kicked in the positive energy. He said that was the key in that song. So now ask what you want, say that you're happy, that you're joyful, whatever, and then put the thank you in there. Those three ingredients.
Not afraid to ask for what you want.
And it starts coming at you. So there we are.
Ready to receive. Thank you.
Ready to receive.
Everyone go like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, tell your friends, share these coffee chat videos, share our website, beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. We have got a few more cabins left on our retreat at sea in October. Trust me, you are going to want to be at this.
That's right.
For real.
And if you're seeing this, I'm sorry, if you're seeing this video a little bit later and you just found us, because we're always talking about our retreats, whatever our next retreat is always on the website. Yes. So if you missed the cruise, there'll be another one on there.
Right. So this one's going to be October the 8th through the 14th, 2023.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's what it is. But we're always moving and grooving. Well, I love you, my friend, and we'll talk. Yeah. And we
moving and grooving.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you big. Thank you.